just a moment to get a tweet out before we start. Alright guys, if you're in yet, I'm just getting set up here. Okay, so basically, here's what I'm gonna do. I've already done a gameplay video of the Nintendo Switch demo for Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. Basically, here I'm gonna kind of go with the future of gameplay videos. So I'm thinking about, instead of doing like the PlayStation TV gameplay for 5 minutes, Nintendo Switch gameplay for 5 minutes, do like a 30-minute, 1-hour stream so you can see more than 5 minutes of gameplay, and so anybody who has questions who are watching can come in and ask those questions, assuming I have the answers. But basically what this is going to be about is, there's been a lot of controversy over the frame rate of the Nintendo Switch demo of Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. Now I've heard that it's better in the main game, but what we're going to do is, we're going to run through the demo. For about half of this stream, we're going to do this in normal mode. You can see the Wi-Fi is on the top right corner. And in the second half, we're going to do it in airplane mode because the frame rate is actually a little bit better if you have airplane mode on. And I'm also going to explain how you do that to have airplane mode on in dock mode. But basically, I've got my setup here. Ask anything you want in chat, and we'll just get started. Like I said, I'm probably going to do about half the demo in dock mode with Wi-Fi on, so you can see basically the worst frame drops you're going to get. And then we're going to go into airplane mode, and we'll see it improved a little bit. I've already gone through this demo a couple times, so I've already kind of like worked out a few things about the characters. So the demo gives you 4 characters to choose from. The slime on the right there is not actually a playable character. You can switch between Twin Swords main character, Sword and Shield female, the well, I wouldn't say great sword, but the one-handed sword with this guy, and kind of like throwing weapons and magic with her. So on all of my plays in the demo, I've really liked the Sword and Shield the most. So we're just going to run through a little bit of the demo, and you can just kind of watch to see how the frame rate goes. Note that it is a little bit better in handheld mode, but I can't record in handheld mode, so we're just going to do dock mode. And dock mode is better for PlayStation TV fans or console fans in general, since some people don't want to play in handheld mode. But let's just get started. A lot of this stuff is optional, but I just like going and fighting all these mobs. You can already see the frame rate dipping a little bit. Now, I mean, I view the frame rate widespread problems to be overly exaggerated, because when I hear frame rate problems, I think like slow down, like 15 FPS. If it drops down to like 25 or even closer to 20, that's still playable. Note that this demo is actually based off of Dragon Quest Heroes 2. The game coming to the Switch is actually a collection of the first and second game, but if you notice the characters, they are actually from the second game. And this is actually a completely different demo from the PS4 and PS Vita version. Because I played the Japanese PlayStation Vita demo of it, and it was not anything like this. It was a completely different part of the game. It was really just a long, confusing tutorial. But this actually is pretty easy to pick up on. And if you're kind of new to the whole Dragon Quest Heroes thing, Dragon Quest Heroes is basically a Musou in the Dragon Quest series. Kind of like I wouldn't say kind of like Hyrule Warriors was with Zelda, because you really don't have that whole conquest taking over bases thing here, but you get the general idea. You could see here just a second ago when I did that fire twister attack, the frames dip a little bit. Let's do it again and see if it dips again. Yeah, it did a little bit. So, I mean, part of it's situational. If you use certain skills, certain attacks, then it'll kind of go down on you. But remember that this is with the Wi-Fi on. So, when we go into airplane mode in a little bit, it's going to be a little bit smoother. Of course, compared to a lot of Vita games that have frame rate problems, this is already pretty smooth, especially with how clear these visuals are. Because, like, if you look closely, let's see if I can get... If you look closely, what jagged edges? I mean, the visual presentation looks really nice, especially from a handheld gamer's perspective. Alright. Swap up character, so you can kind of see also how each of the different characters kind of goes. Even though we're mostly going to be using the Sword and Shield girl. Because really, the Sword and Shield is my favorite playstyle so far, at least in the demo. This guy is more, a little bit slower, but heavy hitter. And as you can see there, he's got some nice AoE attacks. Let's try to look at one of his other skills. That. Note that all these battles I'm fighting are really optional, because there should be a marker on our map of where we're actually supposed to go. Yep, we're just supposed to keep going north, because that flag up north is where we're actually supposed to go for the objective. Yeah, you can see it off in the distance there. So we're going to swap another character. This is the kind of like mage character, because every character has all of these melee combos and kind of magic-ish attacks, but her skills are really just plain magic. Let's get a little closer. But honestly, I'm not really that great, or not great. She's not really my favorite character to play. I like the other ones better, even though I normally like mage characters. She is useful in the final boss of the demo, but I really like the other characters more. So here's the main character with dual wielding, so he attacks really fast, especially when you start doing his combos. Like that skill right there, I found pretty useful against bosses in this. Let's look at his moves. That one's kind of slow. This one's just kind of close range stuff. This is a jumping attack, but that R plus X skill, really good against bosses, because you can deal a lot of damage at once. See, it pretty much KO'd him. Now these coins I didn't see the first time I played the demo, so I'm assuming these are just rare drops, because I fought pretty much everything in the demo the first 2 times, but I never really noticed all these coins. But let's just keep going. Let's save this NPC. Now you can see how useful that skill is. Pretty much knocked out the entire group in one fell swoop. A couple more kind of coming in here, but saving this NPC was the first story-based objective. Not that I understand the story, because it's all in Japanese, but based off of what I've done with the demo so far. First, main objective, come and save this NPC from this mob of monsters. Then he talks to you for a minute, And then you get... let's talk to him again. There we go. And we got our new objective. So let's swap back to Shield and Sword. Once we get to this objective and finish it, we'll move on to I'll show you how to put it into airplane mode, and then we'll work on that to see the better frame rate. Because I mean, even though this frame rate isn't bad, but this is the first boss. Actually, since we're going on boss, I'm gonna switch back to the main character. All right, so here's our first boss. You just have to be careful. Trying to remember where the dodge maneuver is, if there is one. Well, that's new. I didn't know you could do that. Turn into monsters. Let's well, looks like I'm stuck in this monster form, so whatever. The nice thing about this skill system is that you can do a normal combo, like you can do square attacks leading into a triangle attacks for a combo, but you can do that combo and then go into a skill combo. It's just harder against bosses since you kind of have to watch their movement. Yeah, this boss is almost done. There we go. First boss is gone. As soon as we get through this, we'll go ahead and show you how to do airplane mode. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you too much of this because you have to go into handheld mode to do airplane mode. Now, in handheld mode, you hold down the home button, and this lets you do airplane mode. Won't let you toggle it in docked mode. But feed's going to cut out for just a second. You remove it from the dock, put it into airplane mode while you're in handheld mode, and then just slip it back in. Then we are in airplane mode. Give me just a second to resync my controllers. There we go. And it is considerably smoother now. Alright, now we're going to need to revive her. There we go. So I can start using her again. Alright, at this point, we're going to go back down to our lower objective. We shouldn't have too many more objectives left until the demo ends. Alright. Note that it would be even better if we were doing this in handheld mode, but this is already a lot smoother than it was when we had the Wi-Fi on. And in the full game, it should be even better. Because, as I said when I started the stream, I've heard that the full game actually runs a lot better than the demo does. So with the full game, we might be looking at smooth 30 FPS. But we'll have to wait until Square Enix actually brings that to the West before we find that information out. Alright. And now this feature is interesting. Holding down one of the directional buttons will let you transform into a monster. Now, I don't know if it has to be a monster that you're nearby or something else. But I mean, that's just cute, running around playing as a slime. Let's see if the other ones will let you do that. Not yet. We might need to build up a gauge for that. That's one of those little features. Well, obviously, I can't read the prompts on the bottom to see what everything does, so it's just kind of a experimental thing. That's why it's a nice idea to play demos more than once. We're almost to our objective. But like I said earlier, I do give Square Enix props for doing this with the presentation. It does look really nice. Because even on the big screen it does. Because right now I am running this on a 32-inch HD TV, and it looks, I mean, I really like the way it looks. It looks really nice. I think we are, yeah, we're almost to the end of the demo now. We're just going to go in, going to wait here for a moment so I can take a look at a few things. We'll start this boss fight off here, because we're about to get to basically the boss of the demo, and we're almost 20 minutes in. Alright, we got story there, and then that's basically cancel. Because basically we got a story boss here, so it's saying, do you want to progress the story, or do you want to cancel and go out and keep roaming around fighting enemies and all that? So we're going to, of course, advance the story. We got a little cutscene here. And there's the boss of the demo. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The ZR trigger, or for PlayStation fans, the R2 trigger, is the dodge. Took me that long to realize it, though it has been about a week or so since I actually played the demo. No, I mean, I really like the. I mean, just look at the detail in the character model of the boss. Just look at all the texture detail and everything. Like I've seen people say this looks really crappy with graphics, but honestly, I think it looks really good. Though, I mean, I'm doing it from a handheld gamer's perspective. All right, let's switch things up. Which is the there? I've used this a lot for this battle. This little Firebird Phoenix skill, because it just kind of runs up to him and does some damage to him, and it's especially good for mobs. But as you can see, her damage rating is a little bit lower than the last guy. And since MP regenerates, you can't just constantly do MP damage over and over and over again. Note that I didn't play the first Dragon Quest Heroes, like on the PS4. I'm basically waiting for this collection to come out so I can play it on a handheld. Alright, this is new. See, I'm learning all kinds of new stuff the third time playing the demo. Because the first two times I played the demo, he never summoned all of these zombie enemies. If you notice, the short sword and shield is also not doing that much damage. But we're just kind of going with it. And when MP runs out, that's also kind of a nice thing about switching characters around. Because a lot of people would probably go with this guy because he's the heaviest hitter. So heaviest hitter means he can knock the boss out the fastest. But when characters start running out of MP for skills, it's nice to just pop into another character and go at it with them. Now you know who this looks like. This looks like Maribel from Dragon Quest VII. I know that Maribel's supposed to appear in Dragon Quest Heroes 2, so this might actually be her. I recognize her because Dragon Quest VII was basically my first Dragon Quest. Because I'm not all that of an expert on the series per se. I started the series with 7 on the 3DS, and I've gone to some of the other games like Dragon Quest Builders. But I'm not what you'd call an expert on the series. Alright, what I just did was do basically an aura gauge. And the boss fight's over. But yeah, the frame rate did pretty well for that boss fight and for the second half in general. So honestly, even if you want to play the demo and you don't want to be bothered by frame rate, just pop it into airplane mode and handheld mode, stick it in, and you're good to go. But this is pretty much the end of the demo, I believe. We'll get one of those little thank you for playing notices. And there it is. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 for the Nintendo Switch. And it takes us back to the title screen. But, like I said earlier, I think that these little streams are going to pretty much replace my gameplay videos. So instead of doing a such and such game, PlayStation TV or Nintendo Switch gameplay video for 5 minutes, I'm just going to do a stream for about 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and then I'm going to just kind of go with that from now on. That way, you're going to get to see more of each game if you want to, and anybody who's watching at the time will be able to kind of interact with me, ask questions about a game, especially if it's a game that's about to come out. And that's mostly because of how much great feedback I got when I was streaming Toukiden 2. Got a lot of questions, got a lot of discussion, and I really think it's just a nicer idea now that I actually have a setup where I can stream. But for the next 5 minutes or so, I'll just let you see what the intro of the demo looks like in docked mode, just so we can hit that 30-minute mark before I actually end the stream. See, we're getting a lot fewer frame drops here. We're getting a little bit, but nothing really bad. I mean, it wasn't really bad before. Yes, Square, I am. Earlier in the stream, if you can see airplane mode. Early in the stream, I kind of explained how you put the system in airplane mode and put it back into dock mode. Like if you pull the system out of the dock and put it into tablet mode or handheld mode, and you put it into airplane mode, and then you put it back into dock mode without switching it off, it'll stay in airplane mode. You won't be able to switch it back and forth until you take it out of the dock, but you can do that so that it is constantly in airplane mode, especially for these games like this demo where we have like frame drops happening. But like at the beginning of the stream, I showed this area and it was full of little tiny frame drops, but it's a lot smoother now. So like if you wanted to play the demo and you didn't want to do the frame drops, you could just take it into handheld mode, pop on airplane mode, then pop it back in. Since this isn't like a multiplayer game or anything, or at least the demo isn't. So for single player experience and for smooth FPS, that is definitely the optimum setup. You still see little dips here and there, but it is far less of an annoyance than it is when you when you have Wi-Fi on. All right, we're almost 30 minutes, so what I'll do is at the beginning of the stream, I went through half the demo with it in dock mode and half of it without, or half of it on Wi-Fi and half of it on airplane mode. So we're just gonna kind of catch up to the boss fight I was at before I switched, so that you guys and anybody who watches it after this stream actually turns into a video can see every part of the demo on Wi-Fi and every part of the demo on airplane mode. Note that I haven't tried other games like this with airplane mode, like Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like when you go in the Korok Forest, you get some mild frame drops. I haven't really tested that in airplane mode to see if that fixes that either. But since I've already done a video review on Zelda, I probably won't do a stream of it like that. It's been quite a while since I made that initial gameplay video. But with future games, sure. If I do a future stream with a Nintendo Switch game, has frame drops, I'll definitely go and test that. Just like with the battery info. Because I mean, when I first started doing Switch coverage, I basically set in stone that I was gonna put battery info in every one of my reviews because of how different it was. Because like Zelda only gives you about 2 or 3 hours of battery, but I Am Setsuna or Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, you can get 5 or more hours out of the battery. So with situational stuff like that, I'm definitely gonna include that in videos and just coverage in general. Alright, where's my... Okay, my objective's up there. Let's switch characters again. To get back to where we were, I think we're going to have to go through a couple objectives. Our first objective is up there north, where we're going to have to protect, or actually rescue an NPC from a mob of monsters. And then we'll go back to the forest area for kind of a mini boss fight. And that was the point earlier where I switched it into airplane mode. It had some frame drops, so we'll just go up to that point before I end the stream so we can see how that is going, or at least how smoother it is, how much smoother it is outside of that. Let's see, I wiped these mobs out with main character before, so let's go with the mage. Yes, so basically this is the first objective. You got to go and save this NPC from this giant horde of monsters. And the giant horde is mostly gone. There we go. Just need to talk to him until we get our next objective marker on the map. No marker yet. Let's try talking to him again. There we go. Goes back. He runs a little faster. Note that you run faster when you're not surrounded by monsters. And here's that boss. So let's switch to shield and sword. I do like her playstyle the most for this boss fight. And just to clarify, Square, yes, I am in airplane mode right now. Alright, this actually is going a little smoother than it did before. So that'll be good. I mean, I don't know how much better it is in the full game. I've just heard people say, "Oh, but the frame rate's better in the full game." But I've never actually seen the full game, so I don't know. I pretty much won't know how much better it is until Square Enix actually releases this in the West. I just grabbed the demo from the Japanese eShop because it's free, and I like playing demos. Alright, and there we go. First boss is done, and this is the point earlier where I switched it into airplane mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out of the demo, and we're going to end the stream because it's been going on for about 35 minutes now, and I'd only really planned on going through the demo once. But that's basically the Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 demo for Nintendo Switch, showing frame rate differences between docked mode in Wi-Fi and docked mode in airplane mode. So, thanks for watching, and I don't know when the next stream will be up.